First question, making x the subject of the equation. So right now, y is the subject. We know this because it's over here, it's by itself, it doesn't have any friends, and our x does have lots of friends because it's all tied up here in the term, and we want to get it by itself. We want to make it so it doesn't have any friends and y has all of the friends instead. Now, to do this, as we saw, we have to do our reverse BOMDAS. So our BOMDAS is over here, so we have to identify which operation we're going to look at first. So the first one we would look at are any subtracted terms. Are there any subtracted terms in here? No, there are not. So soz s, nothing for you. Next one is our added terms. Are there any added terms? Yes, there are. Over here, we've got a +9. So we want to get that +9 away from this side and added over to the other side. The opposite of +9 is taking away. So we're going to take away 9 from both sides. Now the way that I usually set this out, I will put the operation that I am doing in brackets over here on the side, and that's really effective for your communication, because that means that if you do the whole process and then it gets to the end and you've completely gone squiffy somewhere, I can have a look and see what it is that you did. That way, if you've done the complete right things, then I can still give you points. Or if I identify that you've just done something a little bit out of order or something like that, then I at least know where you've gone wrong. So we're taking 9 from both sides. That was the long-winded way of saying that. So y take 9 is obviously just y take 9. Nothing else fancy is happening yet. All of this business, take away 9, is just all of this without that bit. So we'll rewrite that here as well. X plus 2 squared all over 4. Wonderful. So we've done our added terms. Now we're going to look for any divided terms. Do we have divided terms? Yes, we do. There's one right here. It's a 4. The opposite of dividing is obviously multiplying. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4. Now, when you multiply something like this by 4, you have to multiply every single thing that is on that side of the equal sign. So there are 2 ways to do it. If you are absolutely guaranteeing me that you are always going to remember that you have to multiply everything, then go for your life. You can just multiply it out straight away in your head. So you would know that y times 4 is 4y, negative 9 times 4 is negative 36. So you would end up with 4y take 36 on that side. However, sometimes life gets the better of us and we can't quite remember exactly what it is we're doing. So sometimes it's easier, in order to remind you that you have to multiply every single term, to just put your 4, or whatever number it is, outside of some brackets that's outside of that little combination there. Because what that means is that when you go on to your next line, when you obviously have to expand the bracket, because we can't keep it in brackets forever, you're going to look at that and you're going to say, oh, okay, I know how to expand brackets. I have to times everything that's in the bracket by the number that is outside. If you just made a little stuff up and you went times by 4, yep, 4y take 9, and let it happen, again, I would see where you'd made your mistake, but it's not going to get you a perfect answer. So you want to try and avoid that if you can. And sometimes that means adding in a few little extra steps just while you get used to stuff, and then hopefully you'll get to a stage where you don't need them all. So now we have this. 4 outside of y take 9 equals x plus 2 all in brackets squared. We've done our divided parts. Are there any multiplied bits? Well, yeah, we can multiply this out, but it doesn't need to happen to both sides, so we don't have to worry about that yet. We do have a power, remembering that the O is for powers of. So we do have a power, that's this squared here. The opposite of squaring something is square rooting something. And this entire side needs to be square rooted. Not just the 4, not just the y, not just the 9, the entire term that we have. So you're going to draw in your square root sign. It's going to be quite big because you've got to fit lots of stuff in it. And while you're here, you can expand out that bracket. So 4 times y is 4y. 4 times negative 9 is negative 36. We can make that a little bit littler now. Which means that that's all expanded out and that's all there. The only thing we have left to do now is to get rid of this plus 2, because it's the only thing that's left that is tied to our x. Opposite of plusing 2 is taking 2, and you have to take 2 from this entire term, and it doesn't go inside the surd, because if it went inside there, you would be wrong, and no one wants to be wrong. So draw this bad boy out again. 4y take 36. take 2. Make sure it's very distinctive, that it's not inside there. I will try and fudge it if I think you've made a mistake, but there's only so much I can do. So all of that is equal to x. Now what I like to do, because I'm a bit particular, I always like to have my subject at the front of my equation. If you gave me this, that is still correct and you are not going to be marked down for it. I am just a bit finicky about it. So I put my little therefore triangle. Whenever you see this dot in a little pyramid, that means therefore, and it happens a lot in mathematical proofs and stuff like that. Therefore x is equal to 4y, take 36, all take 2. We pop the therefore in there because you're basically just saying, since this is this, logically it follows that this is this. It's something that you don't need an operator for because you're just restating the same thing a little bit differently. And that's how we make x the subject of the formula.